Next up, folks, let's talk about this middleweight clash between Roman Kopylov and Josh Fremd. Seems a little bit out of place, but maybe it's because he looks like Canelo Alvarez. You know, Josh Fremd, knockoff dollar store Canelo Alvarez here. Josh Fremd, welcome to the building, brother. And I feel like this is an interesting one because on the one hand, Josh Fremd looked terrible in his last fight. I think we could all be frank in saying, like, just not finishing Jamie Pickett, not a good look, right? You should go out there and finish if you want to be a high-level guy in the UFC, but he also missed weight. Some signs of concern there. This is one of two middleweight matchups, or excuse me, one of two like midweight matchups, welterweight and middleweight, where guys are just making an insanely quick turnaround, right? I think these guys are turning around in less than 2 months, both of them. So it's a really like hastily booked fight, right? Roman Kopylov, dangerous striker, good knockout potential on the feet. Training that Dagestani wrestling, he's looked a lot better, defending more takedown attempts. The cardio has always been a little bit questionable. I absolutely hammered, like massive bet on Duraev, parlay, money line, every which way you could do it when he fought Kopylov. And boys, when that eye was like out here, I was ready to, cry in my coffee. So I'll tell you what, that was a nerve-wracking experience for me. It taught me Kopylov way better than I thought. And I feel like now I'm going to just give him a little bit more respect here. Probably not going to be betting against him. I thought Ribeiro was at least a somewhat live underdog in that last spot, and he was able to hurt him in the first round, but Ribeiro didn't really have the cardio to press. Josh Fremd does typically have cardio to push for a hard 15 minutes. He was a smaller underdog, in fact, against Fluffy Hernandez, who's a little bit more proven in this middleweight division. However, styles do make fights. And would I be surprised at all if Josh Fremd gets flatline knocked out in this fight? No, I would not. So I lean towards this fight not going the distance. And I think Fremd is live to win this fight by submission. He's a little bit opportunistic there. I think he's made a point of working on his grappling more since he got submitted in meme-like fashion by Tresean Gore in the UFC. So I feel like this is an interesting fight. I feel like it's a violent middleweight affair. And I got burnt last time I tried to bet the ends by sub in a Kopylov fight when they both just beat the tar out of each other on the feet and nobody even attempted to grapple. So again, in this fight, I feel like Fremd is going to have a little bit more of the game plan here, like go out there and try and attempt the grappling here, force it into those positions. But I'm not fully confident that he'll win them while both of these guys are fresh. Because Fremd, the one criticism I have is he's just a little bit noodly. Like even against Fluffy Hernandez, the one criticism I have of Fluffy is he's not the most physically imposing guy. Sometimes it takes him wearing out his opponent's cardio before he can impose his will and his skill set because he's just not that strong. But I don't know, man. Like this just feels to me like Kopylov is a pretty big, strong guy that's been putting on size. So it's a really tricky fight. I feel like it's violent as hell. First, let's kick it to our guy Wiz here, brother. What do you think about this one, my man?
Yeah, I mean, you the first thing you notice when you look at this matchup is you see the big favorite price tag on Roman Kopylov, and you try to piece it together and see where the advantages may lie, if there are any. The one thing I don't like about Josh Fremd is his striking defense. It's been a glaring hole over his past couple of fights. I mean, Jamie Pickett was landing, I'm not going to say at will, but he was landing them heavies left and right against Josh Fremd in the last one. Now, another reason for this heavy price tag could be that it's the short notice nature for Josh Fremd. He just recently fought and he came up off the couch and started to train for this fight, so that could factor into that price tag as well. But for me, the much more polished fighter, the fighter that has a much more of a process inside the cage, is going to be Roman Kopylov. Multiple reasons. This guy uses his feints to his advantage, and you see him use it time and time again, and they work. He catches people doing the yo-yo with these hesitations. He's going in and out, and these guys just give him reactions that seem to be similar to the reactions that Josh Fremd gives other fighters in the striking game. So in the striking realm, I think this is Kopylov all day, and I think he probably does land that knockout blow probably in the second round, I want to say. I think Josh Fremd is a guy who has faced some adversity in his career, especially in the Anthony Fluffy Hernandez fight. Not necessarily like striking adversity, but it's more in the grappling where he overcame some fatigue and fought his way out. So I think he can tough it out into the second, but I just think this is going to be Kopylov from bell to bell. Unless Josh Fremd finds some success with his wrestling, which he sure can. He's shown the grappling and the wrestling chops in prior fights, and especially on the regional scene. But the issue with Fremd is he's one of those guys that just tends to fall out of position a lot, and he loses position to these guys, probably because of his fatigue in most of these fights. But against Kopylov here, who is not really known for his wrestling and being like an opportunistic submission grappler off his back, I can see where he can maybe take advantage of some positions. But one thing is, Kopylov has been training in Dagestan for this whole camp, and even going into the last camp as well. So I think we see a much more polished guy in the wrestling here for Kopylov, and he probably gets this done on the feet.
Yeah, I think Kopylov is just a really dangerous fellow these days. You know, that Carl Roberson fight feels like eons ago in terms of just how different he looks out there. And I feel like he even looked much better from the DeKirico fight to this most recent fight. So Kopylov out there doing the damn thing, hustling to get a little bit better. You know, and who knows how he's accomplishing it. Legal and illegal, that's all fine with me as long as you're cashing tickets, brother. Eh? Jewish Bettor, how do you feel about this one, my guy?
I feel it's an interesting fight, man. It's definitely an interesting middleweight bout. I do like Kopylov. He showed some good stuff, especially in that last fight versus Ribeiro. I think the real good performance was against Puna Soriano. I don't think much people really expected that. He absolutely butchered him with the body kicks, man. I like his combinations, the fluidity of his combinations, and he's one of those guys who's really a little bit of an assassin. He takes time to get his reads, but once he gets them, he jumps on it quick. Um, Throwing the body kicks again is going to be something that Fremd's dealt with in the past and has gave him some trouble. Um, the We'll talk about Fremd though in a second. Kopylov, that high kick was beautiful in his last fight. The way he feinted and saw that Ribeiro wasn't raising his right hand, he dropped it a little bit, comes right back, high kick, puts him out to sleep. Like that just shows how technical he is and how he's trying to get these reads. With all that being said, I think this line is a little bit wide, and I'm going to tell you guys why. I think wrestling and jiu-jitsu are two different things, and the wrestling defense of Kopylov I do like. It's when he gets to the mat, he kind of is a fish, guys. Like, let's be honest, getting submitted by Carl Robertson, albeit a few years ago, that's something I can't forgive. And when Derive does get him to the mat and does finally get top position, he's able to just mount, ground and pound him. And yeah, Derive's legit. He's got good top control, but he's not doing anything to get. He's not shrimping the half guard, Liam. Like this is basic white belt stuff that we both know. He's just sitting there getting punched, and you could say that's due to fatigue or cardio. But what if Fremd lines up in one of these positions?
The
Now,
Russian
Wiz,
mob got to him, bro. It was brutal.
what if Fremd does wind up getting in one of these positions? Sure, he might not have the best subs, but he's got a good guillotine choke. He's got good top control. He's rear naked choked the guy before with no hooks. I mean, take that for what it's worth. Um, I just don't know if I see the value in Kopylov here. Um, that being said, my prediction for the fight is going to be Kopylov to get the knockout. Probably in round two, like my man Wiz does said. If he's not able to have success with the grappling here, like he did versus Pickett, he wasn't able to have success there. But that could be due to a few things, botched weight cuts, etc. Just getting his feet wet. Fremd's still 28 years old, and he's at a decent camp. So middleweight fight's going to be volatile. If there's a parlay buster in there, I think this could be one of them.
Here's the thing that ultimately makes me lean towards Kopylov. This is a theory I've promoted before. It's not always correct, but I feel like largely speaking, it's been borne out. And I think when you miss weight in the UFC, and most especially if you miss weight and fuck up, you know, something that's important to them, like listen, Jamie Pickett is like supposed to be your highlight builder, the thing that you go out there and you get the win, you get the finish, and they go, look at this guy. He's so talented. Like he can go beat anybody. Like watch him beat this guy, like, or watch him go fight this guy who he's probably going to lose to, but like, come on, give us your money. Like that's kind of what this business is, right? They have guys that, again, I don't mean this to be disrespectful, but like not everybody's there to win a world title, right? No disrespect. Jamie Pickett's not fighting for a world title. He's not going to be a top 10 contender in the UFC. These things aren't going to happen. So like why is he here? he's enhancement talent. He's there so other people can look good fighting him, right? And that's just the way it is. And like maybe he changes his whole life and career, and I'm wrong. I'll eat my words. But like I've seen this a million times, right? We got to know there's guys that have a certain ceiling, and it's not championships, and it's not top 5, and it's not top 8, and it's not top 10. So where are they? They're enhancement for these other guys. They're tests along the way. And Josh Fremd failed the test because he didn't beat the first opponent, which is the scale. So the UFC doesn't like when you don't make weight. And you know what else they don't like? When you miss weight and then put on a shitty performance against a guy who's supposed to be enhancement talent that you're supposed to go beat and finish. So then what do? They look around for a guy that most people haven't heard of that's a freaking hammer, and they try and get you hurt, and they try and get you beat up. So you learn your lesson and you don't mess up again. And this guy is not a guy that was setting the world on fire. He's 2-2 in the UFC in Josh Fremd. So you don't have the leeway to go miss weight and like look like shit, you know? And then they're like, yeah, fight again in 2 weeks. And it's against this Russian hammer that nobody's ever heard of. Ding! That was the phone call. So I feel like Josh Fremd has a lot to prove here. He's going to try his best. He's going to bring, you know, that energy, that spirit, whatever. But again, the contextual factors here, Farid Basharat against Clayton Rodriguez. Everybody was telling me Clayton Rodriguez, he's a good prospect. Yeah, he's a fine enough prospect. But you know what happened? He missed weight against Tyra, and he made them cancel a fight. Then he made Tyra look like an asshole 2 weeks later because he had to cut weight again, then underperformed against Chirez. So then you look at Tyra and you then have a worse opinion. They cost money. They fucked up the bag. They were supposed to promote it to a Japanese audience on one day, and they couldn't because this guy missed weight. So the UFC doesn't go, oh, okay, like, yeah, let's promote you again next time. They go, here's Farid Basharat, who nobody's ever heard of. That's a hammer. Good luck. And then you get finished in the first round. So for me, I think Roman Kopylov is the side here for a couple of different reasons, and that is the primary one. I feel like they are sending him there to do a job, which is to humble Josh Fremd, you know, like the Iron Sheik, you know, he's going to make him humble. And I think Josh Fremd could win the fight, right? We talked about the liabilities of Kopylov, but I always try and play matchmaker. Why are they doing this? I think that's the reason why. So take that for whatever it's worth.